So we're going to burn, and it puts us here. And this is the best way to get the periapsis down fast. We can you can shake it one side to the other and get a better number than me, but we're just gonna get close. 3, 2, 1. 66. We're gonna come in hot for a reason, because we're gonna pretend like we don't have 2500 delta V. We're gonna pretend like we're cutting it short. So let's aim ourselves at the node. We're going to warp to maneuver. And then I'll show you all the housekeeping stuff with that once we get out there. Getting home seems harder than getting to the moon. I haven't even gotten to the moon yet. Getting home is super duper duper easy. If you've only got one craft, that whole part of rendezvousing you don't need. You just have the one craft. If you want me to, I'll show you one craft after this. I actually prefer one craft better. You just have a much taller vehicle. You got to worry about your center of mass more. But I can show you one craft. It's actually much easier, much faster. And we'll actually put a battery on it this time. That way we don't have to cheat infinite electricity. Well, Bangwin, the reason why I want to come in hot is because I want to show how to prepare for it. So what you want to do, Devil's Mouth, the atmosphere on Kerbal, it starts at 70,000 meters, 70 kilometers. And you don't want to go to 69,000 kilometers to enter the atmosphere. You want to come in around like 55 or so, because you got to think that the atmosphere gets thicker the further you go in, and if you're barely dipping into it, you're not going to lose that much speed, and you're going to have to gravity assist slow down for a very long time. So we're going to escape and come out here. We're going to go ahead and warp to this point here. So you kind of want to get in around 50-ish thousand. 55 is what I normally do. So right now we're at 59,99999. I'm gonna burn to 55, and then we're gonna drop a couple of stages and come in with just the pod. Okay, we're at 48. 48 is a little low, but I don't mind doing that. So we are going to ditch everything. We're gonna ditch this, undock. We're gonna point ourselves up with what little bit of fuel we have left. Oh, hold on. And detach ourselves from, or to get away from this engine here. And then we're going to enter in right over here. I'm going to warp to here. And then we'll do one craft to the moon and back after this. I don't mind doing that. I like doing that better. I just wanted to show you two just in case. Okay, so here I want to point ourselves, I guess, prograde at this point since we're ass backwards. Or actually, no, we got to change it back to up. There we go. Point ourselves retrograde. You want to have your ass pointing at the ground, and then we can kick this stage off. If we just do this and go, we can kick it out that way. Kick it away from you, not behind you. Kick it one way along the plane away from you. If you kick it behind you, it'll come back and smack you as you're re-entering the atmosphere. All right, we can turn off infinite electricity. We don't need it anymore. Man, guys, we barely made it on battery. Let's go ahead and burn ourselves in. We are entering the atmosphere. Now, as we enter in, we're going to be coming in very, very hot. And if your vehicle, the ablator adds more mass to the bottom of your pod, so it should keep your pod pointed towards retrograde if you lose SAS. And you'll notice our apoapsis comes down very much. Now, in order for you to get fully captured, you have to either be at a 0 periapsis or below 70,000 apoapsis. We're going to watch our ablator, because I think we might not have enough ablator. It's going to turn black on us, I think. Is Jeb bailing out? No. Why would Jeb bail out? He's in a pod. He's perfectly safe. It's definitely an accomplishment, Devil's Mouth. Then when you realize how easy Minmus is, you'll be like, why did I ever worry about the Mun to begin with? Jeb's fine. Are the new SpaceX rockets that landed for takeoff in this game yet? You can make them. I know a streamer who does. He lands probably 10% of what he launches. But there's really no automation in this game, Devil's Mouth. You have to kind of use mods for that. Can't see a parachute? I see a parachute. So we're climbing back up. I don't think we captured this time, huh? We gotta come back around again, I think. So we didn't capture this time. That's cool. It has a cooldown, Kyle. 1 hour, my friend. It's a 1 hour cooldown on stuff like that, dude. Oh no, we're fine. This message is highlighted for no reason. Cool. That works. Alright, so we're gonna go back up and come back around. That's fine. One more around the planet. Okay. Well, I have no control over the pod, so hopefully it turns itself retrograde as we burn in. Because I can't move it. We have no electric charge. It should wobble back and forth between retrograde because it's a blader. And now Jeb's gonna run out of snacks. Nah, he eats a piece of his spacesuit. Well, yeah, the ablator helps that with that, hip hop, for sure. But even like this is actually a viable strategy. if you want to burn evenly. All right, we're coming in this time. And see, we had enough ablator, and that was coming in about as hard as you want to come in. Yeah, we're definitely landing now. The game likes to give you way more ablator than you really need. Now, I have burned through 200 ablator before. Not saying it's impossible. But if you come in decently, you should be okay. Stay! No battery. I don't care. And then when it comes to your parachutes, you want to make sure that you're landing around... You want to land under 7 meters a second. There are some things that can take a higher tolerance. This, for instance, takes up to 11. But you want to make sure you're below 7 meters a second impact on the ground. Speed. What's up, Raffinil? How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Well, yeah, hip-hop, for sure. The pods are pretty resilient. Alright, we're going to stay used to the chute. Tactical, I have zero hope for KSP2. If you want my real answer. I just want it to exist. Alright, cool. Why is that? Because I honestly believe it's vaporware at this point. And you can't prove it to me otherwise. One time I almost lost Valentina, skipped out the atmosphere so many times. One last time the obliter ran out as it finally finished re-entry. I mean, you could, this will still, until that blows up, it'll still act as a barrier between you and the Kerbal dying. What's up, 2 for $1? It's been a while, my friend. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Yeah, Hidden Sage, that's where I'm at. So yeah, there we go, we landed. Now, I'm gonna do a 1 craft thing, Devil's Mouth. We're gonna do 1 craft. Because I don't like this whole 2 craft thing. Let's redo it. We'll do Devil 2. Oops. Come on. Let me name the craft. Hello? Hello? Hey. There we go. Okay, Devil 2. So we're gonna do the same thing. Except for this time, I'm gonna do things a little differently. Okay? So we're gonna start with our last stage first, but I'm not even gonna touch the mun. I'm just gonna do Kerbin vacuum, okay? So, last stage first. I'm gonna use a probe this time, and we're gonna send a scientist. I'm gonna go a little fancier on the craft since we're doing a 1 craft like mun landing and back. We're gonna put a parachute on top because this thing's coming back. We're gonna put a pod here. It's gonna be this pod here, same one we used last time. And then I want to put a battery on it because we got a probe this time. I want to put a solar panel on it. We're only gonna put 2 solar panels. Probably not, that's too big. Probably these 2 right here. And I want to, if I press R and do that, we can put them right there. Go back to radial mode. And then I'm going to put science on it. Looks like it has a choke collar on right now. We're gonna put a control wheel, small inline reaction wheel. I'm gonna put a fuel tank on it. So we're immediately going to the 1.8 architecture because I feel like that's pretty stable for a lander on the mun, and it has a lot of beef on it. So wait, I don't have a decoupler. Let me decouple it. We need heat shield. I forgot the basics. And a decoupler. Okay. And then we're gonna go science mode. We're gonna throw some science on this. I'm gonna jump over here. I'm gonna grab so like early you don't have access to some of this stuff. We'll put a thermometer on it, a barometer, science mystery goo. Let's put them closer to the bottom here. And then we got crew report, surface sample, things like that. I'm gonna go to utility and throw on a basic ladder. That way we can climb up there and check it all out. And then we need so now we're going 860, 310, 580, and then 800 back home. So we need 1170, we need 1770, we need 2500. I'm gonna say $3,000 to be safe. That's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna say 3,000 Delta V is what we need to be good to go. Gonna go with the good old Terrier. We have 3,737. Ding! Now this is before we add engine plate, legs, etc., but we should have enough fuel. So let's add an engine plate. We'll add the Terrier to it. We'll throw some legs. I'm gonna go 4 legs this time because I like my legs. Or actually, we can still do 3. Let's do 3 legs. I'll put it here this time. Use the smaller ones. I'm actually gonna change the skin and push the engine up, clip the engine just a little bit. That way our legs are still trying to hold the center of mass in place. So our center of mass is just above the legs. So it might be a little tricky. We probably don't need the ladder. The Kerbal can reach that by standing on the ground. What's the engine plate do? So the engine plate, it's in making history. And what it does is, I'll show you. I'll show you. So without the engine plate, if I put a Terrier here, and then I put a decoupler here, see how there's a giant gap there? That makes a difference when you're calculating. Carlo Berg, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. You hit a massive drag potential here. But if you use the engine plate, instead, it's its own decoupler, and when you add a fuel tank to it of some kind, it actually finishes it really smooth. Not only that, but you can also take this engine plate, and I can do 4 engines if I want to, and finish it smooth. It gives you a lot of customization. It's really, really good. The engine plate is pretty awesome. I've seen people do textures, but then just because work has been done doesn't mean a product will arise. I mean, sure. I've written 5 pages of a book. That doesn't mean I'm going to write a book, Darkness. My whole thing has been, show me a beta. You show me a beta, I'll believe in the game. Otherwise, I don't like talking about it because people have varying wild range of opinions, and it's a discussion that doesn't go very far. Because you got the one side who believe wholeheartedly in the game and can't wait for it. You got the other side who are hopeful for the game and have a wish list 10 miles long. And then you got the people like me that don't give a shit about it anymore because it should have came out a year and a half ago and it hasn't even reached the stage that's playable yet. How you doing? Give me something. Welcome in. How are you today? All right, so there's our legs. There's our pod. That's our last stage. This goes below here, and that's our way to get home. So that's our last stage. Now we're gonna. Oops, we got a probe on here. Just dropped in to show your support. Well, I appreciate you, buddy. That's one thing we need right now is people to drop in and hang out. Now we're gonna build the next stage. The next stage is gonna be kind of a third stage. It's gonna be a really long second stage. Now it does say you need 3400 Delta V to get to Kerbal. Give me something to do. Thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Get that Prime Gaming. Keep up the good work. I'm on you, my friend. I'm on you. So we want to do about 4,000 Delta V in our first 2 stages, kind of like we did last time. That way we have a little bit of extra fuel to dump off. That way we can be a little more efficient with the last stage. We want to make it as efficient as possible without going too overboard. So we're going to build a very hardy, efficient second stage. So we're going to switch this over to Kerbal altitude. We're going to push it to 30 this time. And we're going to build the next stage. So we need a fairing. 1/8 fairing. That's not a fairing. This is a fairing. 1/8 fairing. We're going to pop it out just a hair. Actually, wait, it's got to come out a little further than that. Like this. We're going to cover our ship in it. That way it looks all pretty and stuff. And then make this to where it's clamshell. 3 pieces. And then I want to make it orange this time. I like the orange color on these tanks. I wish I could do it all over, but you can't. So then from here we're gonna do the second stage, and we're in atmosphere. So we're gonna come out with an adapter, 1/8 to 2.5. We're gonna put a control wheel here. That way we have a control wheel, and I'm gonna put a fuel tank. Probably this one. This one's a larger tank, And then I'm going to go with the Wolfhound again because the Wolfhound's super, super awesome. And we got 3,000 Delta V at 1.02. That's okay. 1.02. So that's our second stage. And now our first stage is going to be what yeets us out into space. And we're going to go a little crazier this time. We're going to go one step out in our engine. We're going to go 2.5 decoupler, and we're going to go 2.5 to 3.75. We're going to use a little larger, put a little fatter butt on our engine. I can grab this tank, put that there. We can make these orange. We can keep the Russian dream alive. And then I'm gonna put an engine plate down here, and we're gonna throw some stuff at it. 375 engine plate. This is a little much. You don't have to do this, but I like being fun sometimes. And I want to try 3 mastodons. Might be overkill. 3 mastodons is 1763 at 3.56, and it's too much. What's up, Dev Appler? How are you, buddy? Welcome. Let's make it 2 instead. We'll make it double. 1881 at 2.48. That's still a lot. Half would be 1.25. All right, let's just do 1 then. You don't need an engine plate for the bottom, but I wanted to do multiple engines. No, Elfcrafter, this is a tutorial. This is a tutorial. This isn't part of our 50 tons. I'm just showing somebody how to get to the Mun and back in different ways. But it's 50 tons when it leaves the VAB. Under normal circumstances. This is not part of our thing. Alright, so we got our first stage. We got this stage. We're past the Mun on our playthrough currently. We're building space stations and stuff, and we have 180 days until we have to do like another big burn and stuff. So we're kind of helping the rising tide. We're trying to teach people how to do things, that way everybody learns together and everybody gets better at the game. What's up, NCYN? Welcome in. So we have plenty of Delta V. We're gonna be smooth sailing for a while. So we're gonna ship it. Oh wait, let's put a scientist on board. Scientist Bob. Bob's gonna ride this time. Let's go. So this is a 1-ship variant. Don't forget the scientist. Thank you, Punisher. You can do it in a much smaller architecture. I have smaller ships, but this is just me being a little flagrant, a little extra. We're just having some fun. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're launching at a 1.3 TWR at 2,000 Delta V. We're gonna be way in the atmosphere before we have to stage, and we should be good to go. We're gonna get ourselves up and around onto the Mun, get science, which we have already gotten probably in most of the places that we're gonna land, and then come home. That's our current mission criteria. So 2,000 or 200, whichever one you hit last, which we're going to be hitting 200 last. We got the 2,000 first. Then we'll start our gravity turn. Want to be at 45 degrees. So now we're turned the right way because we're using a probe. We don't have to worry about flipping things upside down or rendezvousing or anything like that. We just got to worry about flying. So now we're going to start our gravity turn. Want to be at 10K right along this line here, which is 45. You can see there's you can see 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. This is the 45 line right here. So we'll get ourselves right about here. Kind of lock it in place. We're going to watch our apoapses, watch our TWR, watch our Delta V. Don't let the TWR get too crazy if we can help it. And then we want to look for like a 45,000-ish apoapsis before we start making our next change, which should put us around 25 to 30,000 up here. As long as everything's kind of working the way it's supposed to be working. Freaky V. I can only imagine, dude. So see, we're at 40,000. We're at 25 here. We can start moving on around. We're going to stage here in 1 second. We're at 30K, which is where I set this engine at for atmosphere. Remember that? So we hit our mark here. We're going to get to about 75-ish. I'm probably going to kill the engine. Get ourselves going horizontal here. Now, like someone suggested earlier, we could go on ahead and set up a maneuver mode here in map mode and get ourselves circularized. You might not have enough time though, depending on how like exact you want to be and where you want your numbers at and stuff. Why is that saying we don't have enough delta V? We have 1,000. We have 3,134 delta V. I'm confused. What? Hold on. What? Hello? Well, that's kind of buggy, huh? Either way, we're fine. I'm not going to worry about it. He'll come back, though, right? So it was for science? Yeah, he usually respawns in like 2 hours of gameplay. Not just 2 hours of actual time. So anywho, we're just gonna start burning. The map is weird. So you can see our time counting down towards apoapsis. We're gonna point ourselves up a little bit toward either stalls or starts to count up. So right now we're stalling at 22 seconds, which means apoapsis is staying. Now it's being pushed away, so you want to start aiming back down towards horizontal again. You'll see the clock go down. You kind of fight with the clock a little bit as you're doing this. And then usually once you finally get full horizontal and starts counting up is when it starts getting fun. Because then you can kind of just dictate how you want it to go. And we have a full myriad of controls here now for the probe, so we can lock, maneuver, and everything else. It should make things a lot easier. Super cat. No. So we're counting down. I'm just going to push it, though. We're just going to push it and see what happens. How are you selling out per stream title? Beard, wig, nuts. And when it gets here in the mail from Amazon, we have a wheel, and we're going to have Bean Boozles. But we're not there yet. I want to continue doing this full-time hip-hop, and right now, for the month of August, we are not hitting any goals for me to continue doing this full-time. So I'm trying to get support without coming off as being weird about it. Do you have to keep a Kerbal in the mobile processing lab? If you want to process science, you sure do. It won't process it automatically. And it's got to be a scientist. You can't just put anyone in there. All right, let's get ourselves circularized, and then we'll worry about the MUN. So this will be us getting circularized. You don't have to do the whole circularization. As soon as you get in orbit, you can start aiming for the MUN and shooting for it. But I like to do this because I'm weird.